Hello everyone, this video explains the shortest job first, also known as SJF scheduling algorithm, its implementation, and the starvation problem that it can cause. Shortest job first, or SJF, is a non-preemptive CPU scheduling algorithm. It works by selecting the process with the smallest execution time to run next. This makes it optimal for minimizing the average waiting time of processes. However, it requires knowing the CPU burst time, that is, the execution time of each process, in advance. Key characteristics of SJF are that it uses a shortest next approach, and it is theoretically optimal for average wait time. There are two variants of SJF: non-preemptive, which is the basic form, and preemptive, also known as shortest remaining time first, or SRTF. A major challenge with SJF is the potential for starvation of longer processes. To implement SJF scheduling, it is important to understand the necessary data structures. This code shows a C++ structure named process. The process structure contains all necessary information for implementing SJF scheduling, and it has several important members. The first member is ID, which is a unique identifier for each process. The second member is arrival time, which indicates when the process enters the ready queue, that is, when it becomes available for execution. Next, burst time. This is critical for SJF, as it determines the execution order. Then waiting time, which keeps track of the time a process spends waiting in the ready queue. Finally, turnaround time, which is the total time a process spends in the system from arrival to completion. Let's delve into the core algorithm for SJF implementation. This code snippet outlines the key steps involved in SJF scheduling. The function named SJF scheduling takes an array of processes and the number of processes as input. The first step is to sort the processes by burst time. Shortest burst time comes first. This is the key operation in SJF, ensuring that processes with shorter burst times are scheduled earlier. The algorithm is non-preemptive, which means that once a process starts, it runs to completion without interruption. Waiting time for each process is calculated as the sum of the burst times of the previous processes. This determines how long each process waits in the ready queue before execution. Let's walk through an example of SJF scheduling. Here is a table of processes, arrival times, and burst times. The processes are named P1, P2, P3, and P4. The arrival times are 0, 1, 2, and 3 respectively. The burst times are 6, 3, 8, and 4 respectively. Using the SJF scheduling algorithm, the waiting times are 0, 5, 14, and 8 respectively. The turnaround times are 6, 8, 22, and 12 respectively. Looking at the Gantt chart, we can see the execution order of the processes. P1 runs from time 0 to 6, P2 runs from time 6 to 9, P4 runs from time 9 to 13, and P3 runs from time 13 to 21. The average waiting time is 6.75 units, and the average turnaround time is 12 units. One significant issue with SJF scheduling is the potential for starvation. Starvation occurs when longer processes are indefinitely blocked from execution, because shorter processes continually arrive and get priority. As a result, long processes may never execute, despite being in the ready queue. Starvation is a fundamental fairness issue in SJF, creating a trade-off between efficiency and fairness. In the example in the diagram, process 1 is long and has executed at the timescale 80 to 100. Process 2 is short and has executed at the timescale 0 to 20. Process 3 is also short and has executed at the timescale 20 to 40. Process 4 is a medium-length process and has executed at the timescale 40 to 80. Process 5 is a long process, but it has never executed. Now let's look at how to solve the starvation problem in SJF scheduling. One common solution is the aging technique. Aging gradually increases the priority of waiting processes, that is, as waiting time increases, so does the priority. Eventually, long processes gain enough priority to execute, balancing efficiency with fairness. The code shown is an aging-based priority calculation for SJF. It calculates the priority of a process based on its waiting time and burst time. The waiting time is the current time minus the process's arrival time. An aging factor is also taken into account. The priority is calculated as the burst time minus the waiting time times the aging factor divided by 100. Other solutions to starvation include priority scheduling with dynamic priorities, hybrid approaches like SJF plus round robin, time quantum allocation for long processes, and maximum wait thresholds to force execution. Let's recap the advantages and limitations of SJF scheduling. One big advantage is that it has the optimal average waiting time among non-preemptive algorithms. It also has simple implementation with sorting by burst time. SJF provides efficient resource utilization for systems with many short jobs, predictable performance when burst times are known, and good throughput for interactive systems. However, the limitations are the starvation of processes with longer burst times. It requires knowledge of CPU burst time in advance. It is difficult to implement in real systems due to burst time estimation. It is not suitable for time-sharing systems without modifications, and it has fairness issues without aging or other compensation techniques. In summary, SJF provides optimal efficiency, but requires careful implementation to address fairness concerns. If you like this video, hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe. Visit codelucky.com for more such useful content.